What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Onyx Coin Xcn. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Here we are in free fall down at 00858. Hit that like button if you're having a good time, and go cry to mom if you're having a bad time here. I do think that we are basically at the low points of this move right now. Maybe of this overall move, but what I mean by this move, I just mean this little downtrend here. XCN throughout this whole entire time frame has been very volatile, right? It absolutely has. Every single time that we move down, we move up, right? We have these little pivots, these little moves up, these pumps up all the time. It's been a long time since we've seen our kind of pick up in pace to the downside. We're doing that now. It's been a long time relative to this move since we've seen any kind of relief. The relief rallies that we've gotten throughout this whole entire down move have been at like a minimum of 15%, at a maximum of, I forget, like 70% or something like that. But I don't think we're going to see a 70% pump from here, but maybe a 15% pump could be expected. From a low here to a high here, if you look at where we are here, we're very close to the 1618. That's where I anticipate will go, 00844. And I will admit that being down this much today, while Bitcoin is only down 2%, it does set us up for lower prices than we originally expected. We probably do take out the land of the rising sun. It's not convincing yet. That's not validated yet, but it depends on what we do from here. Okay, so I do think that we will find support at the 1618. If not, well, clearly then we're taking out the land of the rising sun. Justin Sun has forsaken us, and we're destroying all of our altars built in his name, and that's fine if that happens. If it goes lower, that's just a better opportunity to buy more. And I think that this thing is still, if we look at it, if we zoom out and we look at this for what it is, hold on now. It's still well within, I can't delete that. Actually, I need that down here. It's still well within this downward sloping trend, right? It's not breaking any kind of significant structure. Even if it is going lower than anticipated, moving faster to the downside than anticipated, most of the time, if not every single time, if we notice this, once you're moving sideways and being boring and you move down at a faster pace, that's when you get a little volatility. Even this little volatility here from a low to a high, that was a 19% pump. You know what I mean? Here, you're moving down, kind of boring right here, and then once you pick up the pace, that's whenever you get your volatility. Here, moving down, kind of at a fast pace, honestly. But then once the pace picks up even more so, that's whenever you get your volatility. Fast move down, a little bit of volatility to the upside. Here, you're being rather boring, slowly moving down, and then picking up the pace, that's when you get your volatility, right? So it's been a while since we've seen this volatility to the upside and to the downside. We've gotten the first half of this to the downside. The second half, I think, is coming. 15% at a minimum, let's just say from the 1618, because that's where I think you're going to go. 15% would put you at just below 1 cent. You could go a little bit higher and maybe see like a 26% pump, something like that, just above 1 cent. Anything more than 26%, anything more than like 1.1 cent in price, technically 1.093 cents. Anything more than that would be very encouraging to the notion that we don't go lower than this low. But anything below that or around, somewhat of a lower end move of what we've seen throughout this thing's existence, that would be very encouraging to the fact that we do go lower than this 1618. Again, I'm not necessarily certain one way or another if we will go below the 1618. The odds, the statistics, the likelihood is definitely there, and it's more so there now than it has been throughout this whole drop. I am anticipating we go lower, but if we were to go lower than the 1618, if the land of the rising sun is a hoax, it's a sham, then 0077, 00738, and maybe even 0067, and probably just below there would be support. If we go back in time, we zoom out here, we go all the way back. First off, there's no significance here, right? We just went straight through the roof. If we go all the way back here, back in time, you do have areas of resistance here. These are kind of just at the lower ends of this area of support here, so maybe you don't quite go that low, or maybe if you do go lower to the 0076 area, 0074 area, you do just automatically incriminate yourself down to 0065. And then if we take a look at this on a daily basis, maybe on a weekly basis, it might be easier. Let's see. I'm gonna take away this fib here real quick. Low, low. Come on now, where are you at? Why won't it let me get that low? That's okay. I'm just gonna put it on a weekly, and we'll do it that way. Zoom out right here. Zoom. There you go. Low to high, that also is your 0.5 area, right? So there are a couple of reasons to find support here through fibs and through even price action. On a weekly basis, it looks like you're just moving straight through here. And again, I'm not anticipating that it'll be like solid amounts of time that we're down here. I think that it will be, if anything, if we do go below the land of the rising sun, if we do see prices below that 1618, below the low ends of this zone, I think it's going to be a fake out. It'll be very short lived, and then you'll come back up, as it is with a lot of these kind of significant lows here. We're very, very near the bottom, my friends. We're very, very near the bottom. And this is where the boys become men, the girls become ladies, right? You're either going to nut up or you're going to sell out, one of the two, right? And right now, I'm assuming there's probably a little bit of selling out going on. There's probably people who, even if you're expecting this area, like I have, you might be feeling the nerves, right? I know that anytime I look death in the face, I feel the nerves. Don't get me wrong, every single time. But if we look at this for what it is, the volume is pretty pathetic to the downside, right? It is still decent volume. We look at this on Xcn. 22 million versus 281 million. That's less than 10%, I think, right? Less than 10% volume, but it is picking up in volume to the downside. That's 8%. It's picking up in volume compared to the last couple of days, but it's maintained good volume throughout this whole drop. This volume, though, however, with every drop that we've had, is the least significant volume. If we start picking up volume, more volume than what we're seeing here on the drop to the upside, that's how you know who's in charge, right? And I think that we know who's in charge anyways if we just look at the upside, right? All of these moves down, the moves down are taking more time than the moves up are. It's much easier for this thing to move up. There's more interest, more volume coming in on these moves up, and I think that we are about to see that happen now. I really do mean it. I wonder how many people are making the wrong decisions literally at the lows right now. We'll see if it's the wrong decision or not, but I'm pretty convincing this is my biggest bag still. Although with this drop, I wonder, is it my biggest bag still? Bitcoin Cash might have taken back over with this. I'd have to do the math, actually, to be completely fair. Because I know once this got above 1 cent, that's whenever it became my biggest bag, and I have added to it since then. I'm curious. I gotta figure that out, actually. But it probably will become my biggest bag again once we move back up above 1 cent. However, until then, lower, a little bit lower, 00844, something around that area, right? Very, very near that area. We are pretty low in the RSI. In fact, if you look at this here, at the current readings, and assuming that we only go lower, we zoom out and you can see that we haven't hit this line. You haven't interacted with this line. Come on, RSI, load up for me here. You haven't hit this line since July of 2024, right? July of 2024, we go back down there. That was all the way over here. And even though we did persist lower and we were in a pretty dominant downtrend, right, different times than we are now, and we're in a dominant downtrend now, but we're more in an uptrend, right? It's a lot more bullish times now than it was back then. Low here to that high, you saw a pump that was 56% over just like probably the period of, let's see, from that was July 4th, July 6th to July 15th, over the period of like a week and a half, something like that. You did still go lower, right? But I think we're in a bit of a different kind of circumstance here than we were back then. We're at basically the make it or break it points. We're at these areas where if we are to go lower in the 1618, I'm anticipating a fake out, which would imply that the amount of time we spend down here is very, very short-lived, and we'll probably get a rapid recovery. And the very last time that we were at these levels in the RSI or lower, we saw a dramatic recovery. In fact, every time that we've been at these lows of the RSI or lower, we've seen a dramatic recovery, something on the lines of 15% or higher, most of the time higher than that in the price. So we're very near that. We're very near the low, if not at the low right now. 1 hour time frame, it's looking like it wants to go lower. We had some bullish divergence, don't get me wrong. You had a low here, higher low, sure. And if we close this 1 hour green, which we could close green, if we close it green, that would be where the RSI's low is. So that would be that'd be 3 drives of bullish divergence, but you would have to close this 1 hour green. Look at that, picking up the volume here on this last little bit. That's interesting, isn't it, actually? Because I don't think you've moved. You didn't really move too much for that pickup in volume, right? Look at that pickup in volume, guys. You didn't really move too much at all. Who's calling me? Let's see if it's a scam. Hold on. Hello?
Hello. Thank you for being an important part of the Citibank family.
Yep. Sounds like a scam to me. Although I am with Citi. I do have Citi. Maybe that was an important call, but I'm not going to take that on on here. You don't need my information. But it's probably a scam anyways. But anyways, here we are. People are saying, damn, Xcn, wait, let's see. Who just said? Xcn taking a shellacking. Yes, it is taking a shellacking right now. But what I'm getting distracted here. What I'm trying to say is we are very oversold on the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frames. We have the potential for bullish divergence. This 1 hour has 14 minutes left. I don't know if we pull up by the end of this hour. It probably does close red, and in which case this would imply lower prices, which we're expecting at the moment. But that's a lot of volume that came in. We look at this 5 minute period. That's a lot of volume that came in here we didn't really move anywhere, right? Like you've seen the majority of this move happen already, and a lot of volume came in at the lows. So some people definitely capitulated down here above areas where we would expect to find support. It wouldn't surprise me if we continue down here and then we found support. It wouldn't even surprise me if now we found some support, but we'll see how it goes, right? Normally with that pickup in volume, you'd expect to see something a little bit bigger, but maybe the bigger has just yet to come. We'll see how it goes. 5 minute time frame. I don't know, man. I'm calling for a move up, I suppose. We're down here around 0086 right now, 00844. If we are to move down, 00844 I think holds, and we'll probably move all the way back up to prices that are above 1 cent. Don't get excited when we move back above 1 cent. It could happen by the end of today. It could happen going into tomorrow. Don't get excited when we do that because we're not done yet, right? Get excited when Bitcoin has found its lows, which will be below 80K, which will be below 74K is my expectation, right? Once we do that and we see where XCN is, that's when it's time to get excited because then we can start recovering, right? None of the upside targets have changed. Some of the downside targets might have changed a little bit, but none of the upside targets have changed. And it really does depend if we find support here, if we can find support at the base of this zone or not, and depending on how high up we pump, that will kind of solidify if this is the low zone. Are we going to find a double bottom? Are we going to find a higher low? Or are we going to go lower? If we stop here at about 1.1 cents or lower, I would think the chances of going below are still pretty good. Let's just see what a price from up there would be. Maybe not. Maybe not. But it's still a solid chance that you could drop below that low, to be completely fair. If you see prices that are above 1.2 cents all the way up here at the golden ratio, I think at that point we can start celebrating the lows, and really, or at least start celebrating the notion of the lows. And then of course 1.8 cents is that final kind of dagger in the heart there. 1.8, 1.9 cents. That's what we're looking for. But that's a bit of a ways away from here. We'll get there. It's just looking a little bit intimidating right now. This will put hair on your peaches. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. You're gonna get some hairy peaches after this, man. And if anything, I think this is the time to buy. If there's anybody out there that's feeling fear, that's feeling FOMO, or not FOMO, but like panic selling vibes, high emotional states, just ask yourself, if you sold up here, would you at least consider dipping your toes in at these prices? Would you at least, even if you think it might go lower or not, with this somewhat insignificant volume, relatively speaking, it is still below average volume, right? And even though it is a pickup in volume, if we really look at it over the past couple days, it is a little pickup in volume in all fairness. It's still some of the lowest levels of volume that we've seen, right? All these times when we've pumped, we've had a lot more volume come in than we have on this little drop here, right? It is still significant volume. I'm not trying to say one day that this is good volume, that the next day it's not. It's still good volume, but we're not really doing much with it, right? We're not really doing, or the amount that we're doing, I should say, isn't congruent with the amount of volume that we're seeing, at least not in my expectation. But we'll see how it goes. It's like a 13% drop here. You notice this 13%. Look at the level in volume. Right here on this day, you moved up. Well, that's 23%. That's not really fair. Let's say 18%. Yeah, sure. 18% here on this day. Look at how much more volume you had. Right, 13% here. It's not even close to half. You know what I mean? So it's just not. It's something's not adding up. And where was I going with this? If you're feeling the fear, it's probably a good time to buy, right? If you sold up here perfectly and you hadn't gotten back in, would you think that it's a good time to buy right now? And if the answer is yes, that's how you know it's not a good time to sell. It's definitely not a good time to sell. We're at the lowest points possible. I think it's a hell of a time to buy. I hope I see a lot of people in the comments saying that they're excited about the price. They hope it's going lower even so they can buy more, stuff like that. I have seen a lot of people in the comments who are discouraged at these prices whenever we were up a little bit higher. I can only imagine that there's more despair right now. So bulls, man, they feast on that despair. Prepare yourselves. We are at the final moments of this drop, and we are about to start moving up, you guys. We really are. And depending on if this is the low or not, that all depends on how high we pump from here. If we go up to 1.1 cent or lower, we still could go below this low, but that's 1.1 cent area is enough to maybe set us up for a double bottom. If we go above that, if we go above 1.2 cents, I'm very confident that 1.2 cents that this is the low and that we won't go below that low. But time will tell. We'll see how it goes. By tonight's video, we're either going to be hero or zero, man. It's going to be one or the other, but I don't think that we're going down. I don't think that we're going down too much further. And again, if we go, one last time, if we go below this line here, it's going to be extremely short-lived. Just like every single one of these lows, it's going to be short-lived, and then you're going to bounce back in a very, very short amount of time. So don't make the mistake. Don't sell here. I don't know. Time will tell, guys. We'll see how it goes, but I'm very confident in this thing. I think that we're going to see those 20-cent prices and beyond in just a matter of months. I'm not worried about it at all, and if anything, I'm feeling the pressure to buy right now more than ever. So that's all I got for you. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. And no, I'm not getting paid to shill Xcn. A lot of people were theorizing that in the comments. I don't know if you're just trolling or what, but no, they don't pay me. I wish they paid me. They could pay me. I would take payment to talk about XCN, but I'm doing it anyways. Why would they pay me? And if I ever did that, I would tell you guys. I've never taken payments to talk about anything. I've had people try. I've had plenty of people try and reach out to pay me for projects. I just don't do that. That's not my thing. If I believe in it, if it's a project that I genuinely believe will help people make money and it has a future and it's something that I can get behind, I'm open to promoting products like that. But so far I haven't found any. The people that reach out for promotions, they're normally not. They normally just want your money, right? It's not genuine. So until something like that happens, I can't see myself promoting a project. I probably never will promote a project because it's really hard to find stuff like that I can feel safe for my viewers to invest in while getting a paid promotion. But if I ever did have a paid promotion, which I never have, I would let you guys know, right? And if I did have a paid promotion, it would have to be something that I very much believe in. I'm not just going to take the money for something that I don't believe in. That's what a lot of people do. That's not what I do, and that's what I refuse to do. I'm not going to get into it, but I've turned down a lot of money, you guys, for the sake of just keeping this kind of pure and not ad based. I don't want to advertise. I don't want to be like so many of the people out there in YouTube, because that's you never know at that point. Are you trusting their information, or is it just a sales pitch that they've been paid to, brought to you by the original team, right? If you want the sales pitch, go read the white paper, right? That's a hell of a sales pitch there. But you're not going to find it here. You're just going to find my genuine input, my genuine output. I believe that we're at these low points now, and if you buy here, you're probably gonna celebrate in a few hours. But we'll see how it goes. Hit the like, or maybe by the end of the day, whenever I make my next video, I'm going to have some splaining to do. But we'll see how it goes. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.